Hello, beautiful angels. It's Roni Jazz here to talk about attachments and why they lead to suffering. So many spiritual teachers, the most famous being Buddha, say that suffering is a cause of the attachments that humans create and the expectations. Basically, when you have an expectation or an attachment, you're basically setting yourself up for disappointment because everybody knows that we don't really have control over the life that goes on outside of us. We can't always count on every situation going the way we planned or every person coming through in the way that we wish them to. So, if you're interested, keep watching. I just want to be clear that anytime that I say attachment, think of it with a negative connotation. If you're thinking about the word attachment in a positive way, you're probably thinking about the word connection. So connecting is a very positive thing, and connecting is healthy. Attachment is like a connection that's unhealthy, and attachment that a connection that doesn't give you life but actually sucks the life out of you. Attachments don't allow you to enjoy life because you're always coming up with conditions of, how are you going to be at peace, and attachments can sabotage our relationships. So let's get into it. First of all, I'm going to bust this because everybody, when talking about attachments, first thinks in their mind, doesn't being detached mean being cold? Like, who wants to be cold? Who wants to be disconnected? No, detached does not mean that you're cold or disconnected. In fact, you are so connected. Being detached is a form of mindfulness. You are detached from, everything that's not in front of you at the current moment. So when you're mindful, you're experiencing what's in front of you, who's in front of you, you're experiencing the present moment of life, and so you are very deeply connected with the person that you're talking to, the person that you're spending time with, or what you're doing. It's just that when you leave that person or you leave that situation, you're not still thinking about it. It's not still like on your mind, taking you away from the present moment, okay? And then people say, how in the world could I detach from my kids? How could I detach from my lover? They're like the main people in my life, people that I love the most. Again, being attached does not always mean love. And loving someone does not always mean that you have to be attached to them. If you're attached to someone, think about it as you being codependent on the person, which codependency is like sabotaging every relationship. It is basically attaching your energy to the other person's energy, and so you're never really going to feel complete without the person. Almost imagine it like an invisible umbilical cord connecting you to that person that you're attached to, okay? And this imaginary umbilical cord is actually more real than you would think. It is called an energetic cord. I can make another video about energetic cords, but they're a real thing. And when you have an attachment to someone or you're codependent on someone, you have this energetic cord that's constantly connecting your life force energy to each other. Therefore, you depend on each other for happiness, and relationships that are based on attachment don't actually make us feel better. We actually might attach to this person out of fear of abandonment, some sort of fear where they can't trust the love to be even when you're out of their sight. So there's definitely fear rooted in relationships like that. And also, because you have the energetic cord, you're going to always end up feeling lethargic, tired, and it can also lead to anxiety and depression issues, low immune system. You're basically sucking the life out of each other, and like I said, it is rooted in some sort of insecurity where you can't trust that this person is out of your sight. You always have to be thinking about them, worrying about them. We all need to realize in this lifetime that we cannot depend on each other to fulfill each other. The only way to truly be energized and receive energy is if you are connected to the life force itself. Okay, do not ever depend on somebody else to give you energy. The only true source of energy that you're going to find is the prana, the life force, the chi, or if you're religious or you have your highest power, which is God, some people refer to it as, it's basically just the source. And this is where you want to be connected all the time, not to forces outside of yourself, because forces outside of yourself are not dependable, and there's always going to be a limited supply. So as long as you're connected to the source itself, you're going to have high energy, a great immune system, and you're going to feel confident, motivated. Now, the things that humans get attached to is not always just relationships, okay? Humans also get attached to occurrences, things that have happened to them, especially if they have some sort of trauma connected to the situation. Or sometimes if we get, in an argument, if we fight with somebody that we love, we can get attached to that fight, and it can constantly just keep bringing us down. People get attached to work and their other responsibilities of life, where they're always worrying about, their responsibilities. People get attached to their image or their title, the way that they hope for people in their life to view them as. You can get attached to that, which is totally not good, because then you can end up following a unauthentic way of expressing yourself just to keep up this image. People get attached to their ideas and beliefs, which can be toxic, because not all of our beliefs are positive and uplifting. Some of our beliefs make us feel like crap, actually. Like, if you believe that, if you're not skinny, then you're ugly, and you're never gonna feel beautiful until you lose weight. That's just a condition, and that's a belief, an example of a belief that causes suffering and unhappiness. People get attached to their status and the amount of money that they make, or the amount of money that they wish to make, and if they're not making that money, it can cause some serious suffering. And we really have to realize that none of these things outside of ourselves define us in any way. We are eternal beings that have a direct connection to the divine and to the life force itself. So viewing all of these things, like even sports teams, TV shows, just being attached to these things can really just suck the life out of us and give us this false purpose and false vision of what life is, where life feels very limited and unfair. So being detached, practicing detachment, does not mean that you're cold or disconnected from life. It means that you are so connected with life and with the current moment that you are completely focused on whatever is in front of you at any given time. And you don't have any expectations. You kind of just go with the flow of life and accept things as they come and accept things as they go. So in order to heal from attachments, the very first step that you need to take to initiate it is just becoming aware of it, really. So you may start meditating, or you may start going to a yoga class, and you'll notice that while trying to meditate, while trying to practice mindfulness, you're going to have all these thoughts bombarding you. All these worries come up, and your purpose is not to push them away or try to ignore them or try to clear the mind, but just to observe the thoughts. And by observing your thoughts, you're going to find out, oh my God, I really think about this person a lot, or I really think about my job a lot, or I'm really thinking about my responsibilities, and that's your attachment. So really practicing mindfulness and listening and observing the things that you're constantly thinking about, the things that take you away from experiencing the moment, and connecting with your environment, your current environment, those are the things that you're attached to. And then continuing to practice mindfulness every single day, you're going to get into the habit of being mindful and living in the moment, being present. And in the present, you're not attached to other things, In the present moment, you are at peace, you have everything you need, you are connected, and there's no suffering when you're mindful. So really finding a mindfulness practice that works for you is the way out of suffering, the way out of attachments. Guys, thank you so much for watching. If you're watching on IGTV, don't forget to give it a like. You can drop any comments if you have questions. And if you're watching on YouTube, maybe subscribe, Hit the little bell if you want to be notified about any upcoming videos.